everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Wellness Wednesdays, the place to be divining your inner self, where I, Yasmin Wilnis, bring the wandering together to form the living forever. And today we have this lovely question from the 15-year-old Vivian from the Netherlands.
Hello Jasmine, I'm Vivian and my question for you is how to find yourself, because when I'm feeling lonely or sad, then I'm going to think about myself and about thinking what other people think about me, so maybe you could help me. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Vivian, for sending in your question and being brave enough to tell your story and ask that question, because it's pretty difficult, especially when you're expressing that. When you're feeling lonely and sad, you really think about what people think or say about you. And that's something that a lot of teenagers have, and that I used to have as well, and that really has to do with self-confidence, especially when personal development is at its peak in your teenage years. It's really great that you are wanting to handle it and deal with it as you go along. I will mention I kind of wrote a similar post about these tips, but I really wanted to put them in video, and especially for you, my dear. So here they go. Tip number 1, meditate. Meditation is a really great form on becoming one with yourself and also finding yourself, listening to what your heart is really trying to tell you. What I love about meditating, it's something that you can do throughout the whole day. It's just basically sitting in silence, and that there are many apps that you can use to help you begin this meditation process. The reason why I love meditating in the morning is because I start my morning with a clear mind, and by meditating I'm basically keeping that clear mind even clearer for as long as possible, then as to hit that chaos full force. That's also when you start taking in what people say and getting influenced by that. So please just take the time to meditate and become one with yourself. Tip number 2, read. Well, obviously you know how I feel about reading books, and I love it very much. And by reading books, I really mean any type of book that teaches lessons or gives you information which you can then take on and implement into your life. That's the main important thing. It's about using that information to take action. Like I've mentioned many times before, my all-time favorite book is definitely Paulo Coelho's Alchemist. It's basically a book about listening to your intuition, following your dreams, and just meeting beautiful people along the way on your own journey. Tip number 3, write. We are human beings that have so many different emotions, like a lot, and oftentimes we let those emotions out on other people and we end up hurting those people. That's why we have this amazing thing called pen and paper, where we can write all those emotions, frustrations and feelings down. You get to be completely honest about yourself. As I said, I start my morning with a meditation and I end my day by writing in my online diary, which I have on penzu.com. I definitely recommend you write down what it is you think that people are saying about you, and eventually you'll come to the conclusion of why you may be thinking these things, and that you'll find that it's something really deep inside of you and only something you can overcome and not anybody else. And honestly, the more you do this, the more progress you'll see and the more you'll find yourself. Honesty is really the key to finding yourself, because you'll realize you can never really fully grow without being completely honest with yourself. And tip number 4, listen. Listen to your intuition. Now, this may be one of the hardest things I am dealing with right now, and also I'm realizing that it's really a skill to be able to listen to your intuition. When we are born, we are completely pure, and we also know our purpose. My mum gave a beautiful example of this and was telling me, this is your baby self, so this is baby Jasmine. And basically whenever someone is telling you things or their opinions and their methods and values, they're throwing a little bit of dirt on your little Jasmine. Society, parents, teachers, grandparents, friends, family members, and politicians, leaders. We eventually forget why we are here and where our intuition is because we can't hear it. And do you want a little baby you to get stuck under that dirt? No, you do not. And the thing is, it's not your fault at all. It's just something that's been learned to us, and it's time for us as quickly as possible to move away that dirt and say hello to your baby self again. Because we all have a soul inside of us, a soul that's been on this earth before and has had its own experiences. Our heart and intuition knows what's best for us. Thank you so much for sending in your question, Fifi, and I think this is such an important topic, especially for people your age going through this identity crisis right now and finding themselves, but also dealing with the people around you and dealing with growing up, basically. If you've loved this video, please share it with anyone you know who's on the way to finding themselves or struggling right now. You know, I am your fairy godmother to answering your questions and helping you on your life journey. Be sure to send me in your questions and videos so I can answer and give you tips for your struggling life question. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and I will see you next week. Keep dreaming and believing. Bye!
Hold back, maybe you should know that my mama don't like you and she likes everyone. And I never like to admit that I was wrong.